Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride, sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride, sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, ride along.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Our insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Yeah.
Ride along live, worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride.
Ridealong Live, welcome to the ride.
That's what they need.
Welcome to Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday on the ride.
Ride along.
How you guys doing?
Join the
Yes.
Let's sing.
Thank you.
From island to island strong, with the hope we belong.
And I know what all you're asking, right? I could almost read your minds. Because people have been asking me that all day today. So Junior, you're still in Grenada? Yes.
Right. Tune in.
No better place to be, guys, than in Grenada right now. Isle of Spice.
Sheer delight.
I wasn't in New York for Grenada Day.
Ride along live if
I don't even know if I'll be there for Labor Day.
with such ease. Ride,
I'm here.
ride along.
The best place to be, guys.
Dance
Spice Country.
from
Welcome to the ride. And on Tuesday, you know what we do, right? Tuesday is all about what's pissing you off.
bright
What's pissing you off?
light.
And today we have a panel, right?
Every
Now
ride.
these guys are pissed off. Rest assured that they are pissed off, very pissed off. But we said, we don't know if they're pissed off for the same reason. Probably for opposing reason. Who knows?
You please.
We'll get their views on it.
Hope with-
What's pissing you off? So share the program, guys. Share it, share it, share it.
Join the dance
Lydia, how you doing?
song. From island to island.
Marva, how are you? Nice. Before I bring on my guest, I gotta share with you guys what's pissing the hell out of me, guys. What's really, 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 really pissing me off. Hold on, before I tell you what's pissing me off, let me say how happy I am right now, today, because we made the first big, well, semi-big announcement of the Ride Diamond, which is like a ride share that we introduced, which is kind of gonna piggyback on all the projects that we've been doing. And it's all one project. Ride is one project. We have the e-bike, we have the tuk-tuk. Of course, we have now combine that with our ride share, which gives you the ability to call or instantly connect to a taxi, a tuk-tuk, an e-bike, anywhere you are, right? So we made an announcement today, guys, and let me tell you something. You see the riders, don't ever say anything bad about the riders, because when the riders say we supporting, the riders support. Just today alone, guys, we had about 35 new rides, because people testing the system, still testing the system, and it's mostly from the riders community. So I got to say thank you, guys. Thank you, riders. I appreciate you and I love you guys so much. Yes. So guys, if you have not yet tried it, the Ride Diamond, I want you to go into your app store. You may have in the Google Play Store, the customer app, but you could go into the iOS store and you could download the Ride Diamond app. It's just like Uber. If you guys used Uber before, it's exactly the same concept. We have about 50-something, 60-something cars right now that's just out there. If you want a taxi right now, you're stranded somewhere, you could get a taxi. When bus stop run, Ride Diamond is running 24/7, so you'll never have any excuse, right? So Ride Diamond, that's the key. Go into your app store, all right, and get it. Yes. All right. So now to what's pissing me off. Now, what's pissing me off is not the fault of what is pissing me off, if you understand what I mean. What's pissing me off today is banking in Grenada, in the Caribbean, and opening up a bank account. It's almost like the banks don't want you to open up a business account. The banks, let me tell you, if you go to the bank right now and you told them that you want to get a loan to buy a carnival costume, or if you want to tell the bank you want to get a loan to buy a car, a second-hand car, whatever the case is, you will get that money so quickly that your head will spin. But if you go to the bank right now and you told the bank, listen, I want to open up a bank account. I want to open up a business bank account. Lord have his mercy. You have to go through hoops. You have to wait for long appointments. It's almost like they don't want you to open up a bank account, whether it's private or business. Worse if it's a business account. They put you through it. When I think that should be the easiest thing. Like banks should be happy when somebody come and say, I want to open up a bank account. But no, you have to wait. You have to provide all sorts of information. It's almost like they criminalize you. It's almost like they're trying to. It's almost like they criminalize you. It's like you're doing something wrong, and that is wrong. I think something really needs to be done. And I heard what's his name, and the ECCB chair speaking about this, and he said in the coming weeks and months, that process would be much easier, and I welcome that, because it's crazy. So we want to see an easier process. But you know what? It is not the bank's fault. It's not the bank's fault that they're holding up stuff. No, it is the bigger countries who are putting pressure on the local banks, right? It's the US, it's Canada, it's the bigger countries' banking system that is putting pressure on the Caribbean banks. Because I could go in a bank anywhere in the United States, in Brooklyn, any day, and open up a bank account today, one time, but not so in Grenada. So how you fix this thing, please, now? If all you want to see commerce, like Grenada is open for business. Make it easier for people to open up a bank account. I beg. Make it easier for people to open up a bank account. It shouldn't be so difficult and still so easy to get a $25,000 loan to buy a carnival costume. It's almost like they want to put you in the debt. Come on, you could do better than that. And I must say, one of the problem is when you go in to open up that bank account, you guys know this pretty well. What happened is there is a long period of time that you have to wait for an appointment. But my God, if it is that so much people opening a bank account, hire more people now, or they hire more people to facilitate the process. And sometimes you go into the bank to just make a regular transaction, and one person at the teller, one person. Only we could do better than that. We could do better than that. I understand that the bigger countries are putting pressure on us. Yes, yes, yes. But things like having one person at the machine, at the teller, you know, I mean, we could do better than that. That's something that we forcing on ourselves to make it more difficult for ourselves. We could do better than that. Yeah, you see, Lydia's saying that you could open up a bank account in Canada in 5 minutes. You just go in and you present it. But here is like, you know, you wouldn't believe how much information you have to provide. They give you a list long so. And not only the front, you know, the front and back. You have to turn it backwards. They criminalize the thing. All you do better than that. All you do better than that. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about my guests today. And they're speaking about what's pissing them off. Let's bring them on. I'm happy to bring and introduce my friends. Let me put this up
today, Junior. How we doing?
Next thing, I'll start a fight. Look at that thing. Kem Jones and Perry. How are you doing, guys?
How you doing, sir?
Okay.
I love the view. I love the view.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I'm telling you. I realize you've achieved the American dream.
The Grenadian dream.
Well, it's the American dream to go back to Grenada and, you know, and live in a place that has such a beautiful view.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Kem Jones, how you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, and it's always a pleasure to be on a platform with Perry. I look forward to substantive conversation tonight or at this moment in going forward.
Yeah. All right, guys. Listen. So Perry, you're good. You're looking bright.
Yeah. A little vacuum would do that. You know, I didn't get to go to Grenada, but you know, I visited some places. You know.
Okay.
So
Okay. Nice. So let's start with you, Perry. What's on your mind? What's the top of your mind right now?
Well, I'm sure that you would have probably seen a couple of my videos recently, and I went on Jenny Simon, and I was on the Bub Report. So you know I'm hell of a pissed about Cloget and the people of Cloget. And you know, while I was on my vacation, I actually someone called me and gave some very distressing news about visa restrictions on the upper echelon of the current administration, which is something I figured I saw coming based on the direction things were going, and I warned, I bellowed from the bottom of my bosoms, and I said, look, stay away from these socialist Marxist remnants of the PRG. Stay away from them. They're going to get you into trouble. And unfortunately, this is exactly what happened. And I'm not happy about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not happy about it at all. I thought based on all the experiences that we've had from 79 to 83, and there are a lot of experienced people who are still around. I thought that they would have had better judgment. At the time, 79 to 83, you had a very, what some would describe as a hawkish president in the United States. We had Ronald Reagan at that time. I don't know how old people are, but yeah, we had Ronald Reagan. And interestingly enough, people are currently saying that the current president is even more hawkish than Ronald Reagan. So that being considered, you would think that the current administration in Grenada would be much more strategic and wise in their approach to dealing with the United States, especially seeing that our import-export business with the United States is actually one of our biggest trading partners. You're talking about over 30%, hovering around 30%. That's a lot. So you would think you would not want to antagonize such an important economic partner. So that's really pissing me off. And of course, again, as I said, Closure, the disaster at Closure is hell of a pissing me off. And again, one of the reasons being that I made an effort to have a conversation with the relevant authorities. And a lot of what happened could have been avoided or could have been mitigated if someone took the advice that was given. Unfortunately, that advice was not heeded, to the detriment of the project and the people of Clogé. So, again, I don't want to be, and I'm not happy about being, overjoyed or something like this happened, but it sucks when you give people advice and they just don't heed advice. I mean, if I wanted some sort of media, something, I needed some advice, I would go to you, Junior, and I would listen, because I would think that you have a lot more experience in that business than I do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm hell of a pissed about those two main things.
Okay, all right. Kem?
Right. I want to assume that you're giving me an opportunity to first respond to what Perry said, and then I will tell you what is pissing me off thereafter. I want to assume so, Junior.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Junior, Grenada enjoys a very good relationship with the United States of America and with other countries. We have had a very good relationship with Cuba. In fact, if Perry comes to Grenada and for some strange reason, God forbid, he falls ill, there is a great probability that a Grenadian who studied in Cuba may attend to him and cause him to be well. Further, I want to say this. We are grateful and we will forever be grateful to the government and people of Cuba for what they have done for Grenada and the people of Grenada over the many decades. We appreciate them, we love them. We also are very grateful and thankful to the United States of America. Many of our people go to the United States and realize their dreams and become something. We have a very healthy relationship with the United States of America. What transpired recently is not only Grenada. We're talking about Brazil, we're talking about African countries, we're talking about a number of countries, and maybe that's just the start. It's really to do with the medical program by Cuba, where doctors and nurses every year, they're sent to a number of countries to help those countries in a number of areas. And the United States having concerns as to the payment, whether the governments are paying directly to Cuba or whether they're paying directly to the nurses or the doctors. And not only that, how much they're paying, whether they're giving them less and then passing on the balance to the government of Cuba. And there are diplomatic channels, there are ways and means that this thing will be resolved and it will be dealt with. So I do not see it as a biggie. In fact, we, to date, have not heard from the United States of America the name or names of any Grenadian, government official, ordinary Grenadian, meaning some PS or some ministry official that has been, their visa has been restricted or revoked or anything of that sort. In other words, much to do about nothing at this point. Yes, it's a concern. Nothing wrong with that, to be concerned. But I'm saying Grenada has not committed any crime. The government and people of Grenada have not committed any crime. I'm saying this to say to you, the NNP have had that kind of relationship with Cuba, with doctors and nurses coming here. The NDC, it's nothing new, right? So that's the first thing. But we are grateful, we are thankful to both countries, and we have a healthy relationship with both countries. There is no feud, there is no issues, there are no problems there. There will be in any relationship little, bumps and along the way. So that's one. Two, Perry spoke about Cuba. Not Cuba, Cloger. I mean, they're both seas. I'm from St. John. I know Cloger very well. I have been in Cloger for quite a while, in and out. And there is a issue with the soil in Cloger, right? And the problem that the government trying to address now is not a new problem. That has been there donkey years. I know the area. Thankfully, they're trying to address it. Things do happen, especially when it comes to dealing with such a troubled uh, soil makeup. If you know Cloger, you know Mabuya, you know Cloger, Mabuya, Florida. There are certain areas that you can look at. So those things do happen. The government is trying. They have, in fact, we are seeing less of a social media buzz and issue there because government has intervened. Things are happening there. It will take some time, but they are getting there step by step. But let me say this in terms of, and not just to speak about the two things that Perry spoke about. And Perry's my good pal. We may disagree, and we don't have to agree on everything. But at the end of the day, I respect his opinion. I respect his viewpoints. I do not have too much that's pissing me off. I am more or less happier than ever. 200 plus teachers, 200 plus teachers have been made permanent by the government of Grenada. And that's on the 100 and something or 200 and something temporary teachers that were made permanent before. So that's a good thing. They now have job security. They can go to the bank. They can go to the credit union. School is reopening in September, I think September the 1st. So the environment is conducive for learning. Teachers are happy. Students are even happier. So that's one. The uniform and school supplies program, that is up and running. In fact, they're asking parents who have not yet signed up to call this number and call that number. Sign up if you are in need of, the voucher, the $450 and that kind of thing to help them with their, uniform and so on. That's great. I love that because it's easing up the burden on parents. So I'm happy about that. The free tuition. Again, we know of the students who were successful at secondary school and, they're now looking to go to TAM-CC, sign up for TAM-CC and NULO. Some will be going to NULO who are very good in the technical and vocational areas. That program is on in full swing, $810 given to the institution just for them so that they can access tertiary level education. That's a good thing. It's a new thing. In the last 2-3 years, the government has pumped a lot of money there. This morning, I saw a number of neighbors who are part of the debution program. It's a seasonal thing, yes, but it's timely. 2, 3, 4, 5 fortnights leading up to the opening of school, parents can, they get a contract, $400-500 in their hand. They can buy some vests, they can buy some shorts, pants, and things like that. That's a good thing for me. The free hot meal program, that again will recommence come September. The free textbook program, that will recommence. Well, in fact, it started already where parents are getting that. The free school bus program, that's a good thing. So I'm happy about these things, that the government continues with the social safety net programs, easing up the burden on parents, while, there are a lot of ads out for workers, and they just can't get workers because you have the St. David's Catholic Secondary School. That project started. We're talking about $4-something million. The St. Andrew Anglican Primary School, that project started 37-something million dollars. The Grenada Christian Academy School, that project started $40-something million. I mean, there are a lot of things happening. So at the end of the day, I'm happy about that. But here it is. Two things I'm happy about. One, the NNP, they're vexed because the most honorable Deacon Mitchell played jab. Well, I played jab too. And Junior, I saw you played jab too. And I'm certain if Perry was here, he would play jab too. That's part of our culture. That's nothing new. They shouldn't be vexed with that. And the next, the NNP is against, and I heard it today from, I think it was, what's her name? Emlyn, what's the lady's name? Perry, what's her name?
I think you're very familiar with her name, Ken.
No, I don't know. I'm asking because,
That
in
was
fact,
deliberate.
no, Keith Mitchell is talked about more than the lady. So I'm asking what is her name. But she's not happy with the new teaching hospital facility and the Afro Exim Bank pumping 250 million US. If you convert that, that's 668 million EC co-financing into that project, which is a fantastic project in my view. And she's not happy also with the Africa Richest Man coming here to build the Dangati and Orama Center for Excellence, which would pump millions again into our economy. So, things that you should be happy about.
Right. Okay. So, Perry, you have a lot. You have a lot to digest. There, Kim said a lot, but I want to go
Yeah.
back on the idea of the visa restrictions on Grenadians and Grenadians official, right? What would you recommend to the administration that they should do that they didn't do, or that they should steps that they should take at this point in time, whether to prevent or whether to fix the problem that exists right now with the possible announcement? Again, I've spoken to officials and they said that nothing came through the official wire. This has been press release. It came to certain publication, but nothing official. But in your recommendation, what are you saying should be done by the administration or should have been done by the administration?
Well, first and foremost, I like what I'm hearing. A lot of the things that Kem said, especially those are actually happening right now, right? But the stuff about the Exim Bank and the Polaris and the Center for Excellence, these are possible things that would happen. Okay.
Right.
When you don't have it in your hand, you can't say it's happening. Okay. So it's possible. Right. It's promise. It's a promise, and that's okay. But I like the other things that I'm hearing. And
what about specifically about the visa thing?
Yeah, I'm going back to the visa now. Yeah. Right. So as for the visa restrictions, it is quite obvious that certain things were said in the public domain. And people may have personal feelings about the issue. I have feelings about the issue. You have feelings about the issue. Many have feelings about the issue. But as a statesman, as a minister, if you go and you say something in parliament or you say something in the public domain, what people assume is that what you're saying, it may be a personal opinion, but what they assume is that what you're saying is actually a government position. And that's a problem, because the first and foremost job of a minister is to preserve the state. Okay? So you have to be extremely careful about what you say in the public domain, because many people are looking, and sometimes very important people are looking, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay? So that was a problem. As to how you go forward, of course, the first thing, as you said, have to use your diplomatic channels and have a conversation. As the people who are planning to do those restrictions, what is the problem? What are we doing wrong? How can we fix this? How can we come to a negotiated settlement on this? As I said, not only 30% of your import-export is done with the United States, but you have St. George's University, which you always are so proud of and always talks about, that contributes over 100 million USD to the economy annually. Okay? So again,
yes.
And most of the people, as you and I would know, that goes to the St. George's University, where are they coming from? Where are they coming from?
Yeah, most of them are source market. Major source market is the United States.
Exactly. So almost another reason why you would not want to do anything that would be perceived as anti the interests of the United States. You have to understand, we could be sentimental and about these things, but the problem is that there's a global political world, and it's much clearer right now. Everybody sees everything. Back in the days, you didn't have all that social media, you didn't have all that satellites, you didn't have all that information connectivity. So now every single thing you do, people see. And you yourself have a lot of experience with the United States, and you understand that once you're put into a database, every time something happens subsequently, you're flagged. And I see this as a warning shot. You know, this was a warning shot to the administration. Say, hey, look, come to me, let's have a conversation. And we can be sentimental and say, and we can play with tough and we big and we bad, but that does not work practically to our benefit. We tried the same thing in 1783, and the consequences were horrible.
Right.
It led to the death and destruction of Grenadian people en masse. And it led
the position that was articulated was the same by Grenada, was the same position that was articulated by Barbados Prime Minister. It was the same by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Ralph Gonzalez. It was even the position when Marco Rubio, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, went to Jamaica.
Right.
And I don't know if it's a game.
It is a game
that has been played.
It is a game.
Right. But when Marco Rubio went to Jamaica, the same position that the Prime Minister of Jamaica said, the same thing that he said to Marco Rubio, and Marco Rubio said, well, fine, great, well, we understand now. That's the position. And it's probably not what Jamaica is doing, but probably what somebody else is doing, so we got to take a bigger look at it. He played such a political game with them, right? And it's the same exact thing that Grenada is doing, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have people, we have medical practitioners that come in from Cuba. They practice here in Grenada. They do the same thing in Jamaica. They do the same thing in St. Vincent. They do the same thing in Barbados. There's nothing different. So what could Grenada do differently to prevent themselves? What should they just say? You know what? Okay, the Great America said this. You know what? Forget about Cuba. Cuba, forget about you. I want no dealings with you because of X, Y, and Z, and send back all the medical practitioners back to Cuba. What position then would Grenada be in that situation?
Well, that's not the approach. That would not be the approach. You have to understand, and again, we have to understand global politics. Now, you have to understand that in Jamaica is run by a center-right party. NDC, as you probably know, is considered a center-left party. Now, people who are looking along are believing that NDC is drifting further and further to the left and is becoming more leftist radicalized. Now, you know the American administration. How do you think they would perceive the Grenada's administration? How do you think they would perceive it? Another thing is, do we know what Mr. Hollis and his administration did behind the scenes? Do we know what Ms. Mia Motley did behind the scenes? Do we know what Ralph Gonzalez did behind the scenes? Now, these three administrations have a wealth of political experience. And I can bet my bottom dollar that these people behind the scenes probably would have said something publicly, but behind the scenes would have sang an entirely different tune. And as I said, because of the experience, if you don't want to learn from your personal experience, like, if you have a personal experience, you got hurt when you did something, guess what? You would tread cautiously in the future. It's the same thing. Grenada has a wealth of experience of being in that situation before. You agree?
Well, Grenada
from
has
1983. Do you agree that we have a wealth of experience of being caught up in what possibly could be a Cold War? Do you believe that there's a resurgence to some extent currently of a Cold War? Given that,
Mhm.
one should,
Mhm.
as an administration, one should tread extremely cautiously. And again, given the fact that we've had so much experience that a hawkish president was willing to actually militarily send 10,000 troops and invaded Grenada. Did they ever believe that would have happened? And again, as I said, currently, people are suggesting that this administration could be a little more hawkish. We have to understand that states do what is always in their best interest. Okay? Cuba was an ally in 1790-83. The United States invaded Grenada. I would say a country that was ill-equipped, very much ill-equipped to deal with a superpower. Did Cuba rush and say, okay, well, let me send a couple MiGs to help out Grenada? Did they do that? No, they didn't. Guess what? A few construction workers who were working at the airport made a sentimental effort to try to fight. I mean, they weren't, hardcore military soldiers, they were construction workers. So that didn't work out too well. Okay? But the point I'm making is that states always do what is in their best interest. No matter, this is not like a friend. Even friends do the same goddamn thing, right? Friends and people you interact with may ultimately, if it comes down to the wire, they will do what is in their best interest. So states and the people who represent those states need to do what is in the best interest of the state that they represent. As I said, I just gave you an example. You would think that Cuba being such a great ally of Grenada from 79 to 83, and here it is, your allies invaded. And of course, you didn't do anything, right? Because you couldn't probably, or it was not politically wise to do it, or it was not strategic to do it. So you get the point I'm making.
Kem, jump in here. Is Grenada, or should Grenada move to abandon a relationship with Cuba?
I'm not saying that,
because
not to interrupt. I'm not saying that.
States.
I'm not saying to abandon.
Okay.
I just said to have a conversation, to ask the party that is concerned, how can we amicably resolve this situation? What can we do to resolve this situation in the interests of the both parties? You have to have a conversation, see what is proposed, and then you can act.
Kem, jump in here. Because again, hearing. Yeah, go ahead, Kem.
Junior, my question is, does Perry know whether or not the government of Grenada had a conversation behind the scenes with the United States of America, or initiated any through the diplomatic channels? Because I mean, he highlighted Ralph Gonzalez, he highlighted Mia Motley, Andrew Holness, and he doubted the possibility of the government of Grenada doing a similar thing behind the scenes. It came across as though he's that negative when it comes to Grenada and the government of Grenada. And
that's not true.
That's not true. Because he isolated Grenada, but that's just one. But, I listened to Perry a while ago, and he made me think that there is some restriction imposed on Grenada already, and that there is a list of Grenadians whose visa has been revoked or restricted, or some sanction or something. I mean, he spoke there frightening, scaring the hell out.
I want you to be scared. I want you to be scared. That was deliberate. Because as Junior would understand, and people in the annals of international politics will understand, that this is a warning shot. Again, you are dealing with a hawkish president. By some measure, people may say. So I am saying to you, their measures may be incremental. This may be a first step. And then there could be consequences subsequently for Grenadians collectively.
Right. So, Junior, I am asking the question: what has the government of Grenada done wrong in all of this yap from my good colleague Perry? Because he makes this thing looks like Grenada has done something wrong, or the NDC administration has done something wrong. What has they done differently from the NNP? Because
Well,
they
that's what we can only speculate about. That is
hold
something we
on,
can only speculate about.
hold on, brother. You'll get chance to talk.
Sure.
I'm saying the same medical program by Cuba has been there for more than a decade, and Grenada has been the recipient of that aid for many years. So this is nothing new, and NDC has not done anything extraordinary to get any restriction. In other words, what has Grenada done wrong? But hear this, I want to make a point, because I think my good friend is suffering from convenient Alzheimer's. Do you know that visa?
Whoa, you're in the medical field now, Cam. Amazing.
No.
You didn't tell me. I noticed there's a pattern with you when it comes to things that you don't agree with.
That is why I said
all of a sudden you become some sort of medical doctor. Last time I saw you were in the realm of being a psychiatrist and a psychologist.
Junior,
what happened? I don't understand.
Perry, I am not.
You're diagnosing everybody in this world, Cam. What's going on?
Perry, that is why I said I think.
Don't bullshit me, Cam.
You are.
Don't bullshit me about you think. I know what you're saying.
Let me make the salient point. The point I was making, Perry,
yes,
is that, do you know that under the NNP administration, all of Grenada lost free access to Canada, and visa was imposed. Visa restriction. Not visa restriction, but visa was imposed on Grenada under the NNP administration for all of Grenada.
Okay.
Hold on. I didn't hear you. That is why I said I think you seem to be suffering from convenient Alzheimer's. But anyways, my point here is, brother, and I consider a brother, we may disagree.
No.
End of the day, America is a great nation, a great country.
Right.
From time to time, there will be people who want to occupy the office that may have different policies, different direction, politically and otherwise. At the end of the day, brother, Grenada will be friends with the United States, and Grenada will be friends with other countries around the world.
Sure.
Really? They don't have to agree on everything. There will be disagreements.
Sure.
So they're going to meet around the table, brother. They are
I hope
so. They're going to meet around the table, and
I hope so.
Halabaloo. Don't blow up this thing as though some visa restriction has been imposed on Grenadians, and about this is a matriculative approach. This is the first step, and then the next, and the next. Utter rubbish. I
don't think so. I don't think so. There's precedence. It has been done. Okay, what Grenada as a nation did, as you say, under the NNP to deserve a visa restriction from Canada? What did Grenada? Because it wasn't about administration, right?
No, they imposed visa.
Right.
It was not visa restriction. They imposed visa.
Right, visa. We understand what I'm saying when I say restriction. All right, so you needed a visa to go to Canada. Yes. Right, we understand that. So what do you think that Grenada or Grenadians did then? There's precedence. It has happened before. So who is to say? Let me tell you something, Kim. I don't want you to be naive. And I know you don't make politically strategic decisions when it comes to the NDC. I understand that. Okay? But I don't want you to be naive to think that a warning shot is fired at Grenada, so to speak, or the administration, and then one should just take it and sit back, and be naive about it and think it's a joke. This is not a joke, my friend. There is no telling how far any global nation will go to protect their interests, especially an empire. Okay?
What is Grenada's
We've
interest?
seen it
What is Grenada's
before.
interest? Perry, you complain about the healthcare system in this country. You have an issue with every damn thing when it comes to the healthcare system. I am saying
No,
to
I
you,
don't. I don't have.
you cry like a baby when it comes to the healthcare system. I'm saying to you, if the Cuban doctors and nurses leave this place, do you know what vacuum will be created in the
Well, you're
healthcare
going to an extreme, Ken. You're going to an extreme. Did I say I wanted them to leave Grenada? I have my own personal opinions about it.
Hold on, guys. 1 second.
I have my own personal opinion.
Right, but let me ask the question: what is Grenada doing differently than Barbados and Jamaica
Again, Junior.
as it relates?
But
Junior, we can only speculate.
You should ask what Grenada and Africa, the African countries, and Brazil and other Caribbean countries. I think Grenada was the only Caribbean country named. What Grenada has in common? What Grenada doing that they're doing to endure this restriction on some government officials? That's
I'll tell you the story.
What in other words, Brazil, right, and a lot of Latin American, South American countries, they benefit from the same program too. Italy, when COVID-19 struck, who went and helped the people in Italy when their people were afraid to deal with their own people? The Cuban doctors and nurses.
Nobody's disputing that, Kem. Nobody's disputing how awesome Cuban doctors are. That is not the conversation. I think you're missing the conversation. The conversation should be that nations, and especially when you're dealing with powerful nations who are competing for alliances. I want you to understand the dynamics of global politics. Stop being sentimental. This is not little Grenadian politics. This is global politics, of which the Grenadian current administration is part of. So they have to understand that. The global battlefield, so to speak. So there is no limits to which powerful nations who are competing for economic and political influences across the world, there's no limit to which they won't go. Understand that. Again, we have precedents on that. We've seen how far they went. They sent 10,000 troops, okay, to overthrow an administration. How much more guidance do you need as a current administration? Now, things are done a little differently, just like some are saying that the NDC administration is doing. Back in the days, the PRG administration, if you were considered a counter-revolutionary or a Garyite, they would lock you up in Hopeville, right? Back in the days, they would invade you, these powerful nations. It's a little bit too messy nowadays. That open confrontation and military action is a little bit too messy. So what do? They can strangle you economically. And that, my friend, is a licking. Again, we said there are an existing, established relationship with the United States. So 100 million from the SGU, 30% import exports with the United States. Why on God's earth would you try to jeopardize such a significant part
of
the economy?
But who is trying to jeopardize that?
Well, I'll tell you. Hold on, I'll tell you. You asked a good question. Again, I said it before. If you make statements, emotional statements about your personal feelings in a parliament, in the public space, right? Saying how you feel emotionally about the whole situation. And obviously, you drew a line. And you said, this is what I'm going to do. My friend, as a nation, you never rush into taking sides, man. This is not no little game where you're hanging out with your friends and you're rushing to take sides and stuff. This is serious business, my friend. Okay? This is statesmanship. Yeah, so you don't go say some things in the public domain and then you basically played your hand. You played your card. Yeah, so everybody knows how you feel.
Perry,
given the fact.
Okay.
given the fact
Okay, hold
that
on.
you're a center
Let me
left
finish and
party.
then Kim.
So they know.
Right.
I want you to understand the global dynamic in terms of politics. NDC, a center left party, says something like that. And you have a right party, a Republican party, which is the sister party of a center right party. Probably that's why they gave a little bly, as we would say, to Jamaica and wholeness, right? Probably that's why. So if you're a center left party and your ideological politics is entirely different, your big sister party is the Democrat Party in the United States. That is why, again, as I've always said, that a lot of the policies that are being implemented by the NDC are similar to the Democrat Party. So you have to understand where you stand in the whole struggle. Once you understand that, you would be extremely strategic and you will tailor what you say and tailor what you do so that your country is not affected negatively.
Right. So,
all right, Kim, let me give up opportunity now to
right.
respond.
I'll be brief.
Kim, go ahead.
Because I think Perry, I mean, he was, quite passionate on this particular
I'm very alarmed, my friend. Right. Very alarmed.
Yes, and
yeah, let him go ahead, Perry.
So,
go ahead.
One, I need to make your viewers and listeners know that it is Perry's opinion about NDC being a center-left party.
Oh, no, that's not opinion. That is not opinion, my friend, at all.
That is
Perry. Let him finish, and then you.
That is Perry's opinion, and that is not factual. I want to repeat, it's not factual. And this nonsense about geopolitical happenings, and who's center left, and utter rubbish where this whole conversation is concerned, and that's my position. Further, the United States of America named Brazil as a part of this whole thing, right? Where they imposed visa restriction on the minister, I think, of either health or foreign affairs, and the former POW head, and somebody else, right, in this whole thing. But the United States of America, I want to reassure you and let you know, folks, factually, that the United States of America has not named any Grenadian, any government official, as part of this whole revoking of visa or visa restriction. This guy is making a big hullabaloo about nothing really, because there is nothing yet that this gentleman, Perry, can tell you of any individual in this country whose visa has been revoked or some visa restriction has been imposed. Nothing whatsoever in terms of the truth. So again, Grenadians, rest assured, as the government of Grenada issued a statement, many diplomatic channels have been explored so that this can be resolved amicably and peacefully. Grenada has a very healthy relationship with the government of the United States of America. The great United States of America. This is a great nation with, proud people, with hardworking people, with decent people, right? We have a lot of Grenadians who are in the United States of America. This is a great nation. At the end of the day, the government and people of Grenada will continue to work with the United States of America to find some resolution to all of this so that all of us, at the end of the day, can continue smiling.
Well, I like what you
let me just
said,
say this. Let me just say this really quickly. After speaking with, after getting the news that said that Washington accused officials from Cuba, Africa, and Grenada of participating in global forced labor scheme involving medical mission, and announced that it will impose visa restriction as a sanction. Immediately, the Ridealong team reached out to the Foreign Affairs Minister, Joseph Handel, up to as recent as yesterday. I personally spoke to Foreign Affairs Minister, and the information was that there were no official channel. This did not come to any official channel. As far as he knows that there were no specific sanction on him, on his visa, or anyone of his family as to date. The government, however, responded to it but there were no official sanctions, right? Again, that was as of yesterday. If anything changed between yesterday and today, I don't know, but this is response to a message that was posted on X. That included in the message said that in a message posted on the social media platform X, the officials stated that the State Department is taking action against several officials that's complicit with the Cuban regime in the organization and maintenance of the mission. And the same mission that we're speaking about, the same Cuban doctors that goes into Jamaica and the other islands, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominique, you name it, Jamaica is the same program that Grenada is a part of. And the last meeting that they had with Jamaica, it was made very clear. And the OECS, they met as a body, not speaking individually, and made it very clear the mission and what the role that the medical doctors play. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves said it very clear as well, that if it was up to him, right, if it was up to him personally in revocation of his US visa and sending back 60 medical practitioners from St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the hospital, he would opt to revoking his visa. The Prime Minister of Barbados publicly said the same exact thing, echoing the sentiments there. And they have not reported, or at least I haven't seen anything official of any sanctions on their visa. Similarly, there were no official sanctions on any Grenadian official visa. That was the official message that was said to me from the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't know if we heard anything prior after that. Did we get anything official, Kem, within the last
No,
couple
it's the
days?
same thing. It's just that the government put out a statement. It's the same thing, right? But when your house is on fire, your neighbors need to also wet theirs. So
Sure.
if Perry believes that Grenada will be the only Caribbean country concerned over this, he has to be sleeping. He has to wake
Who
from
said I
slumber.
believe that? Why would I believe that?
He has to wake from slumber when
Why would I believe that, Kem?
the other Caribbean islands, they too have a similar program, and Grenada is not isolated in all of this.
I agree.
Right.
Why you think that I would not be concerned about other Caribbean nations? It's a Caribbean community. Why would I not be concerned? So let me ask you guys, what do you think? You think the State Department made a mistake or something?
Well, I don't know if it's a mistake.
We think they made a mistake or something?
Well, it's the same program.
What
What
I'm
I'm saying
asking,
is
the
the
fact
same
that
program.
Grenada's name was mentioned, do you believe that the State Department made a mistake? Because you said, oh, well, Jamaica's not there, or Ralph Gonsalves and St. Vincent's not there, or Mia Motley's not there. So I'm asking a question. Do you believe that the State Department made a mistake to include Grenada?
Well, the State Department did not put out any official diplomatic memo.
But you think they made a mistake on X? You think so?
I don't know.
Well, Perry, I'm not even on X.
Do you think it's quite possible that they're possibly signaling something?
I'm not on X, my brother. All I can say to you,
No, my friend, we're not talking about Kem Jones, man. We're talking about the State Department of the United States of America.
Relationship with the United States of America and with other countries. And there are diplomatic channels to resolve these minor things. In fact,
I don't think it's minor, Kem. Don't trivialize it. I don't think it's minor.
Has been named, or any family member has been named as having their visa revoked or any visa restriction imposed on them.
I hope not.
Right.
Nobody wishes that. I hope not. I hope this can be resolved.
Let's take this quick. Let's just take a quick call here. Ridealong live. Caller, live. Where are you calling us from?
Maryland.
Hello?
Yeah, Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland, go right ahead. Maryland, go right ahead. Listen to me on the phone line, not on the live broadcast. Go right ahead, Maryland.
The basically is, do we know why the St. George's University came later?
Caller, hold on. Caller, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Turn your TV down because you're listening to me on the television and you're responding to me on the phone line. That's not going to work. There is obviously a delay. Turn your TV all the way down and have a phone conversation with me.
Great. So the question is,
Uh-huh.
why did the St. George's University went to Grenada? Is it a state university or is it private?
Caller, I didn't hear the last
That's
thing you said.
question.
Why St. George's University went
He's
to
asking
Grenada?
whether it's
Yes.
state or private.
That's a private institution. So it has nothing to do with the US government. So whatever impact, unless it's getting funded from the US government, Grenada will not be impacted by this little political issue that's going on right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So have him let, yeah.
Go ahead. Finish up.
The gentleman who spoke about possible consequences with the St. George's University, a private institution, asked him if he knows why they started in Grenada. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. The caller wants to know. And St. George's University, by the way, didn't that university came to Grenada during Eric
That's
Gary
correct.
days? Eric
That's
Nancy Gary
correct.
days?
Yeah, and it's private.
was
It's also
doing that-
private. So that's a
private
valid point the caller
yes.
made.
What,
You know,
Ken,
Yeah.
the guy didn't make any point. That's why I didn't
Yes, he
respond to it
did.
too much. He said whether it's private. What I said about the SGU, and I said they contributed over 100 million USD. I cleared it up with Junior, and we did agree that most of the people that goes to the SGU, and I'll tell you why it's set up like that. These offshore medical schools, it's generally a little cheaper and a little easier to get into offshore American medical school than to get into domestic medical school. So that is why they're up for going to SGU. Generally, that is the case. So we agree it's a private institution, but I'm saying to you that, what do you think? You talk about how proud Americans are. You think the Americans that go to SGU do not love their nation? And if they perceive that Grenada is in some way allying with people who they think are not doing things in the best interest of the United States, you think they won't have a position on it? Are you kidding me? Then you got to be naive if you don't believe so. Let's keep it real, my friend.
but
Once you keep things real, once you're intellectually honest
Perry,
and you analyze the situation properly,
Perry,
then you'll understand and then you'll know what sort of moves to make.
Perry.
Okay?
I want to ask Perry one simple question. You know,
Uh,
how long has the St. George's University been here? One, and tied to that, how long has Grenada been a part of, you know, the relationship with Cuba and enjoying, you know, doctors, nurses coming to our aid and assisting us here in Grenada and having our Grenadians studying and, you know, becoming doctors and so on? How long has that been happening? It is very, very close in terms of the years. So it's nothing new. You give the impression that this thing started yesterday or 4 days
What
ago.
started yesterday? What am I giving the impression of what started yesterday? You mean the whole Cubans coming to Grenada?
Yes.
Okay, we understand that, but I'm saying to you, it is quite obvious. It is quite obvious. Relationships change at a heartbeat, my friend, especially in the annals of politics. The nations who could be friends a couple months ago, and depending on how the tide flows, they could be enemies. I mean, you understand that in the game of politics. I'm sure you do. So it's quite obvious that something has changed. Else that would not have been the response. Probably it's not. It's not entirely the whole Cuba thing. But is it possible that the United States could view Grenada with the whole Africa? You know, is it possible that they may find that they'll think about it carefully, my friend? Economically, I just said to you, that you do import exports almost a third, 30%. Okay? So don't you think quite possibly that if you were to deviate and change and start looking elsewhere, don't you think that that may ruffle feathers a little?
Brother.
You don't think so?
Yeah, brother. Yeah, you're asking me a question, so let me answer.
Yeah.
Right. Perry, Grenada is a sovereign country.
Of course.
Grenada is a sovereign country, very small. And yes, you're quoting figures about how much percentage and export, import, and all these kind of things. Grenada
Right.
is a sovereign country. We have a right to engage in relationships with different countries around the world and make it even better with countries that we are DNA connected, quote unquote, that we are connected on our ancestors. Africa that's where we came from. And this is a very good move by our government to engage new countries and partners in our developmental trust. You can't stick with one thinking that we're going to get everything there. And as you indicated, governments change, the policies change, the direction change. It's a good relationship that we are forging with Africa. And that is why I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
We saw Little Grenada host this huge summit, this huge forum, speaking to investment, speaking to trade with regional leaders, with leaders from Africa, and players in the different fields. This is a significant milestone in the history of this country. We heard from that investment forum, the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, the president of the Africa or Afro-Exim Bank, the bank dealing with business and investment and so on for Africa, Professor Benedict Orama, announced openly before all the prime ministers of the region and developers and investors that they will co-finance Project Polaris, the new teaching hospital facility, medical city, in the amount of $250 million US, co-financed. That's EC $668 million. This is significant for any small nation. You also heard another significant announcement coming from that particular forum, where Africa's richest man decided Grenada is the place he will set up and build the Seas Center for Excellence, right? The Dangate and Orama Center for Excellence, so that our young men and women can get the opportunity to receive training, opportunity to, AI and investment and, to become architects and become, talent. Come on, I'm talking about investment in our young people and in the future of this country. He could have chosen anywhere around the world to do so. He has billions of dollars. He could have chosen somewhere in Africa. He chose Grenada. I am saying, you can't be static. You will make new friends. You will make, new partners. You would meet new partners. You would forge relationships. And it's all in the interest of the development of the country. You may not like it, but that's the reality.
No. Hey, let's not get sentimental and emotional about like or dislike.
Like
or dislike.
Hold on a second. Before you respond, I have a caller on the line that I've been waiting for like a good 10 minutes. So just take the caller and then we'll come back to your response. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York. It's great to hear the talk between the two individuals. And I don't agree with.
Yes.
Now, I heard, to take the recent one, a center of excellence. What is that center of excellence going to be providing? Certification in the field of what? Engineering? Is it a university? We need to know. It's a good thing that the bank is investing or plan to invest $600 million into the Grenadian economy, and that we can get a teaching hospital. At what cost? Is it free? Is there an interest rate? We have to look at all those things. And if there is an interest rate, for how long? So, for example, over a 10-year period, Grenadians can invest $1 each day. And if you get $30,000 Grenadians who might be living, let's use the US dollar. If they're living in the US and they invest that money over 10 years, you raise $100 million. So there are other opportunities that we need to explore to raise financing projects that will help our people. And one of the things that we don't do is that we don't appreciate our own and some of the uncertified and uneducated people that we have in our community. So, for example, we have a certain concept with regard to, and I'm going off on a little tangent here because I want to make that point. It's very important. We have an industry called the spice industry, nutmeg industry to be specific. Many, many years ago, since in 2008, you had a whole set of professionals, farmers, and others who participated in a big workshop. They needed to raise $15 million to get that industry on a far better footing to promote and to process their products. Neither the NNT or government has raised one black cent towards that $15 million. Albeit that document is outdated, so it has to be updated at some point. On one other question, I don't think we have any significant problem with the US government and this visa and these Cuban doctors. They have not officially told the Grenada government anything. It's good to be proactive, and if your neighborhood is on fire, to wait yours. But it's a very simple solution. It's in the hands of the Grenada government to take care of it. We sell passports to people who we don't know. There are Cuban doctors providing us with services. Let's make them Grenadian citizens. The problem solved. Let us move on. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you, there.
Well, that was a brilliant contribution by that caller. That was an excellent contribution by that caller. And again, Cam, I want you to understand, intellectually, nations can pursue whatever sort of relationships they want to pursue. Intellectually, idealistically. But you have to understand, realistically, that there are consequences for whatever relationship you pursue. I'll tell you a little story. In '79, when these guys overthrew the Gary government, it is alleged, it is said, that they went first to the United States to sort of try to establish relationships, and they were utterly turned down. Well, of course, the climate of the time, the political climate in the world at the time, the USSR, for those who may not know, Russia, would have been happy to accept them, as possible socialist Marxists, and they helped them out via Cuba. So the point I'm making, of course, you can pursue whatever, your sovereign state, your sovereign state. But I want you to understand, if you look at the history of the world, there have been many sovereign states. There are a lot of sovereign states. That does not stop other powerful states from trying to influence those states or pressure those states or corner those states. Okay, if they feel that their economic or political interests are threatened. So I want you to understand the reality of the situation.
Right. So I want to thank the caller for his contribution. The caller, I know him, Mr. Campbell. I think he made a very good contribution. I want to say further that it's a bank, and the bank is co-financing this particular project. Remember, it is a project geared towards making profit. Like it or not, it's an investment. Grenadians will benefit, but this is not free. So let's take it out of our mind that it's free, right? So it's an investment. They're co-financing. There will be some return on their investment. There will be other investors. There will be other partners who will partner with the government of Grenada to realize this undertaking or this project, right? So it's a fair question. At what cost to the Grenadian people? He spoke about a center for excellence. This is common sense. In fact, my daughter, who is 3, my last daughter, she could Google this thing out. She knows what a center for excellence speaks to and what it entails. Our young people will get the opportunity maybe to learn AI, artificial intelligence, maybe to use the computer to become better architects, maybe to become better doctors, better cultural ambassadors, in whatever area, agriculture, finding new ways to feed ourselves. It's a center for excellence, meaning that there will be research, there will be training, there will be opportunities for our people. He could have chose another place. Let's be grateful. Let's be thankful that he chose Grenada.
Right.
Well, Cam, as the gentleman said, and he, as you said, he made a very good point. None of this, again, we cannot be naive about anything in this world. None of this is being done for naught. Everyone have their own self-interest. So I don't think that, we need to be crawling on our stomachs and say, oh, thank you, Lord, you delivered us. Because that 250 million loan,
No. Perry, we do not know what that entail. All we heard from the president of the bank, it is
right,
co-financing.
Okay.
It may include loan, it may include grant, it may include, in other words, we don't know the details as yet.
Okay.
So to loan, it, in other words, we kind of moving ahead of everything. Our time.
I agree. But experience will tell me that it's very unlikely somebody's going to give you 250 million.
Well, it could be a combination of loan, grants, and everything.
Okay. And I'll have you know, since you're talking about 250 million, I'll have you know, and whoever want to check it out, they probably can check out my video on OV Global Network. I've spoke extensively about the Polaris. And I'm telling you, and they know, the 250 million is not going to cut it. So let's be honest. That 250 million is not going to cut it for the teaching, research, hospital that they're planning to build. I had a whole analysis of that. Whoever wants to see the video can check it out on Hanovi Global Network. All right? So let's be clear about that. And as a gentleman said, you have a center for excellence. You see, we're so used to hashtags, build back better. What does that mean? Concretely, what does that mean?
Go and ask the family
Transformation.
Go and ask the family who just received a new house.
Center for excellence. What does that mean?
Go and ask the family who received a new house.
So the gentleman,
a house that it was constructed better than what they had. Go and speak to them.
So the gentleman said, ask a very pertinent question. What are they going to receive in the Center for Excellence?
That will be
Center for Excellence.
You will know.
I can open a Center for Excellence.
Well, please do.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think there is any denying.
So the Build Back Better, you mentioned the Build Back Better and go ask. It's okay. Everybody, will be happy to receive a new house. But if you use a particular phrase or a hashtag, Build Back Better, what does that mean? I mean, there was it was contradictory, because then the leader of the administration said that, we shouldn't build back better. We should build to last. So it was kind of, confusing for me, because I was thinking, if you build back better, that should be something that lasts. So a guy like me will ask the question, if you use a phrase, build back better, what aspect of the construction are you going to improve? Is it the specifications of the materials that is being used? What, are you using some different type of material with different specification? Because that's going to contribute to building back better. Is it the design of the building? Because that's going to contribute to build back better. Is it the supervision of the actual construction means and method going to be improved? Because that's going to help build back better. So these are the specifics. These are hashtags and these phrases.
Right.
Well,
let me ask you this question.
And Junior, just if you permit me, just one maybe about seconds.
Yeah.
Getting back to the subject matter that we were discussing, the Project Polaris that we spoke about at length, and the Center for Excellence. I think the Grenadian people, if you go in the streets, you go in the small shops and so on, people are looking. excuse me, people are looking forward for
Gesundheit.
opportunities. People are looking forward for opportunities in this country. They want jobs, they want opportunities to flow. And our government is working very hard. In this climate, brother, it's not easy to get Africa's richest man to invest in a small place like ours and to embrace Grenada in such a way. He could have chosen to go in any of the Caribbean islands. He could have stuck to Africa, the continent. He chose Grenada. And that is why I'm saying to you, we will go in the streets and say, hooray, hurrah. We are happy. We are glad about it. This is a significant investment in our economy. And it will benefit medium to long term our young people, our Grenadian brothers and sisters. And we are proud of that.
Well, we hope that is the case. And I'll tell you something, you talk about investors. What is the aim of an investor? An investor will make money wherever he can make money.
And
Junior is
nothing
an
wrong.
investor. He knows what I'm talking about. And one of the best places to make money is emerging markets. If you're in a saturated market, you're going to get pennies on a dollar. So if you have an emerging economy that's trying to grow, like Grenada, emerging economy, that's the best place to make money, my friend, as
Right,
an
that's
investor.
nice. I love that. That's great.
Don't you see? That's Junior. That's
Well,
him. An
well,
emerging market, things that weren't there. An emerging market is the best place as an investor. So don't look at it as some amazing thing. Oh, why did you choose Grenada? This is an investor. He's obviously a witty investor. He's going to emerging markets.
But not only that, but you could give the most honorable Deacon Mitchell credit. He has been managing this economy damn well to bring it to that level. As you indicated, it's an emerging market and things are really good here. You know, people must know that the economy is extremely stable. It's liquid. Investors are rolling over one another to invest in this place and to, you know, be a part of the developmental trust. And we love it.
We
Right.
have ways to
Okay.
go. We have ways to go. And remember, these things are promises. When things,
Right.
I admire what the gentleman, he's a very, bright gentleman, but I'm biased. I like the Antoines. His mom taught me in Hindhead School, So Timothy, after the conference, he came and he spoke. And I hope everyone listened to what he said. Because the gentleman knocked some sense into us. And he said, look, this is good. We had a conference. But what we have to understand that to actually get some way materially, realistically, you have to have infrastructure in place. You want to do trade with Africa? You have to have financial infrastructure in place. You're not going to take a bag of money and travel to Africa and then pick up goods and then come back and, you have to have a network and infrastructure in place. So I really like what the kid did. You know what I'm saying? And I hope we listen to what he said.
Yeah, and he was speaking to the region. He was speaking to the region because
Absolutely.
he is
Absolutely.
the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and he was speaking to the region, which is good.
Absolutely. I love what he said,
He's a
He's
son of
kind
the
of like
soil, and let's give him all the credit.
pragmatic about what he said.
All right, let's take a quick call, guys. We got a caller on the WhatsApp. Caller on the WhatsApp. You're live.
To everyone.
Yeah, good night. Go right ahead, caller.
Right.
We're calling us from.
I'm calling from Grenada.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, and I'm a young man, and I was just scrolling Facebook and I saw the live, and I was listening to the program. And the gentleman, Mr. Terry, I am noticing a lot of red herring.
Perry with a P. Perry with a P, not Cherry.
Oh, Perry with a P.
Yeah.
Sorry about
No,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm noticing a lot of red herring for him and a lot of strawman in position. And I say this to say that with all that is happening, we can only wait to see how things pan out through the diplomatic process. To sit here and just be pessimistic about everything, what will be, being pessimistic is not going to change anything.
Absolutely not.
And
No
I
one's
understand.
pessimistic.
Hold on 1 second.
And-
Perry, he can't hear you,
okay.
so just listen to him. We'll comment at the end. Oh, go right ahead, caller.
All right. Yeah. So I understand that we need to be proactive and take in front, but at the same time, Mr. Perry almost sounds, not to be disrespectful in any matter, but he sounds like an Uncle Tom, that basically that anything that America does, he's just gonna bend down and accept it. I would like to pose one question to him, like, what will America impose that he may reject? And I'll also like to follow up that on saying that in America, there is this whole push on the transgender movement. So let's say, for argument's sake, that the government officials from Grenada got a visa restriction and they had to accept, meaning that children from age 7 to 12 could transition from male to female and so on. And if Grenada did not accept that such visa restrictions would be would be slapped on them, would he now just say, well, hey, that we need to accept this, and if a government official speaks out on a sovereign nation and says that, like, this is not the lifestyle of Grenada, a man is a man and a woman is a woman, because a government official takes in front and makes a statement on our way of life, it somehow makes him arrogant or ignorant to the fact. I mean, in life, you must stand for something, and you must let things go through the diplomatic process. And in his style, I would like him just to be a bit more calm. For a gentleman, and me as a young man looking at him speaking, he seems quite animated. You and the other mister seems calm with a nice demeanor in speaking, but he just seems very animated for what I honestly don't know. And I have no sides in this. I'm just somebody who was randomly just scrolling through Facebook, saw it. It seems interesting because I'm somebody who looks at persons like Jordan Peterson and so on. And I like a good debate. Yeah. So that is my take on the matter.
Okay, caller. Well, we're happy, first of all, that you were scrolling through and able to come across Ridealong Live. You could go ahead and like the page and make it your regular stop. We appreciate you. So listen to his response on the live. Thank you again, caller.
Well, first and foremost, sometimes we always hate what we love and love what we hate. So probably because I was so animated, it made it interesting and he wanted to scroll. And he made so many contributions. Probably if I was just boring, like Henry Kissinger, then probably he would not want to take a second look. He probably would have looked at something a little more animated and interesting. So there you go for animation.
Okay.
But so I like what he said, and again, I don't want people to misinterpret what I'm saying. Every nation, as I've said, is a sovereign nation. You can choose to do whatever you want to do collectively as a nation. But I'm saying in the real world, there are consequences. So if you are an emerging economy, you have a good thing going, as Kem says, just maybe you want to be a little more careful about what you do and what you say, and a little more calculated, a little more strategic about what you do, so that nothing gets in your way of achieving your goals. Always, the old saying, you got to creep before you walk. When you're a big boy, you can do whatever you want, like the big boys are doing. But when you're an emerging nation, you have to be very careful about what you do. And that is my point. Doesn't mean you have to bend back over and take everything. You can express your opinion. You can say how you feel. But you have to know there's a balance. You have to strike a balance. You have to know, look, if I do this, that is a problem. I always like to refer back to the PRG. If they struck a balance, probably all, and I understand the kid is young. He probably was born after the PRG. But people like ourselves who kind of saw certain things, and especially people older than me was actually part of the process, who are like uncles and aunties and so on, we understand consequences. Because we've seen it.
Right.
You understand? So I understand. I understand his position as a young man who has not had that experience. So that is why I may be so concerned. Because you know why, again? Months and months ago, I won. And I spoke and I said, look, be careful. It was predictable that something like this could possibly happen. And once you're flagged, the fact that
Right. Well, I don't want to.
No,
There
Perry,
is
go ahead.
No.
Finish.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
finish what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mhm.
So once you're flagged,
Yeah.
Junior knows that all too well. You know, he's what, 30, 40 plus years in the United States. Databases and systems. Once you're flagged, Grenada was flagged. Would I be in the social media space? I agree. Let's see what happens next. But if you're flagged, I would think, I don't know, you guys probably better strategists, you know, I would think the approach would be, look, let's be proactive. The gentleman used the word proactive. So quite to the contrary, I'm not being pessimistic. I am saying, and I am pleading, because I understand the possibility for graver consequences. It's because of concern that I'm so animated. It's like, it's the same thing. Let's go to Clogie. To digress a little.
Yeah.
Clogie. I saw what was happening in Clogie, right? And many of us saw what was happening in Clogie. We won. We screamed at the top of our lungs. If you do this, if you do not temporarily show, if you do not use the right means and methods of construction, this is what is going to happen. No one heeded. What was the consequences? Horrible consequences for the people of Clogie, and by extension, the administration, and by extension, the people of Grenada. So a project that started off as $249,000 ballooned into $1.6 million. Now, this is not 1.5 times. This is not twice. This is 6 times the initial budget of that project. And again, we won, and we spoke to the relevant authorities because, you know, let me clear something up for your audience. We're going to dispel a little myth today.
Yeah.
Because some of them
Perry.
would say, they would think, well, this guy is anti-NDC. Let me tell you something. For the over 30 years in this Brooklyn, we have entirely supported the NDC. Kem knows that. The first time I've been to an NNP function was when my auntie was up here a couple of months ago. Okay? So we have extensively, so you may see a whole bunch of people jump on the bandwagon now. All these newcomers.
Right.
That is why, as you remember, Junior, that is why a stalwart like Estella, when I went to the function, people say, you're a little harder than us. Why you harder than us? Estella had to say to them, this guy has earned the right to say what he's saying. Because people who are hard on you love you more than the people who indulge you. Okay? Remember that. The people who are hard on you is because they may want to see you go right. That's why they're hard on you. Not because they despise you. And you know what? Why this is alarming? A gentleman, I'll give you a little background story. A gentleman called Porgy Cherubin. This gentleman was major in the PRG. Saw some crazy things on October 19th. And this gentleman is now on Facebook saying, okay, that he's concerned that every time someone criticizes the NDC, he's afraid that they may be called a counter-revolutionary or they may be called a Gariad.
Right.
And this is coming from that man. This is coming from that man, a respected major. And the fact that he could say that, and he's no lover, I don't believe he's any lover of Keith Mitchell and the NDC or NNP. NNP. He's not a lover.
All
but
right.
if he can make that observation, candid observation, what does that tell you?
Okay. Let's go into quick.
Can I-
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I want to thank the caller for his contribution. I love the fact that he was scrolling through and happened to listen to the program. And as Junior indicated, he can subscribe and be a part of that community. I think great many people learn a lot from this platform, and that's a really good thing. Your contribution is valuable, and I will call you sir, and not a kid or a boy. I think you have earned it based on your contribution and the questions you ask, Grenada has a very healthy relationship with the United States of America and a very healthy relationship with other countries, including Cuba. And we cherish that as a sovereign nation. Junior, Podgy and I, we are very good friends. In fact, Podgy is my neighbor. From time to time, when he passed this part, we would bounce a drink, we'll chit chat. He and his kids and so on. He's a very nice gentleman, and
Absolutely.
I know him to be a Peterite. And sometimes he say no, he's not a Peterite, but he's a very nice gentleman, and I wish him all the best. He has his opinion, he has his viewpoint, and he can express that on any platform. But we will always be friends, and that is what is important.
Sure.
Right, right. On a softer note, I want to get into just the final part of this. Kim, I know you have a program to line up to
No,
go,
no,
but
no. We can go ahead. We can go
go
ahead. I
ahead.
mean,
I just want to say something that just came across my wire that is personal, but it's very, very, very good news. I had a friend over the past couple like, months. She was going through a cancer diagnosis, and she was given a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer, and she went through a lot. And she just messaged me here saying, I won't call her name because she just told me don't say it because she don't want to. She didn't tell her family yet. She's completely cancer free, and that's a very close friend of the ride and very close friend of me. I just want to say congratulations to her. She's cancer free, and she was in Grenada here celebrating and playing a mass and stuff like that. So I just want to say big up and kudos to my good friend. I could just imagine the relief because she was at stage 4. Imagine stage 4 cancer, only to be told now that after some surgery or whatever she did, she's now cancer free. So big up yourself on that. I really, really, really that just made my whole
well, I
week.
think all of us. It made
Of
our
course.
evening. And
Yeah,
congrats. She's a fighter, and I think it should motivate other people because there are other people who are going through a similar thing. So that's great.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to say big up to my friend there. I want to talk about the project now, the Nawasa project. I know you guys may have mixed emotions on that. We're seeing that it started now in the south of the island. Perry, with your take on that Nawasa project?
It's funny. I recently heard about it, and I love it. I'm so happy. It's awesome. Kudos to NDC. They got this going, and you may not know, but in some respects, again, I had conversations with people early in the game concerning that project. We almost lost it, and we had some conversation, and people went and did what they had to do, and they got it back. So I am ecstatic that it actually started. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, Kim?
Well, I can't say anything more. I think Perry, at least that's one thing that we can totally agree on. The government worked hard, and as Perry said, we almost lost that project. The previous administration, and many people know what happened, what transpired, but thankfully, with the intervention of the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, the honorable Andy Williams, I mean, the Minister for Implementation, he did a fantastic job, he and his team, and we got it. And what I love about the project is that you have all the by roads down south. And bear with me because I'm still suffering from the flu. All the by roads down south, you can actually pass there now because of the project. A lot of those roads were fixed, and it's benefiting communities.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well. I guess in what's pissing us off. I just want to make it clear. So we're saying that the situation with Cuba obviously is pissing a lot of people off. People are talking about it, but
Yeah.
could we agree that there was absolutely nothing that could be done, or are we saying that there were more that could be done by the current administration? So we could just clarify that. Perry, are you saying that the administration should have done more or could do more still um, in the visa in the announcement of the visa restriction?
Well, contrary to the young man, thinks I'm pessimistic. I'm very optimistic. I think
Right.
there's always opportunity for dialogue. especially in the annals of politics. So they have to put a team together and have a conversation and find out what can be done, to have some sort of negotiated settlement that it would be good for Grenada. I think there's opportunity. When these guys kind of like, again, fire a warning shot, it's like, hey, young man, come over here. Let's have a conversation. That's what it is. So have a conversation and see how it can be resolved.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful that things could be resolved amicably.
Right. And the question of the Afro-XM Bank with the $280+ million towards the development project of the teaching hospital. Your take on it, just so we could be clear.
250 million, yes. If it materializes, it'd be a good thing. But you already know my take on Polaris. Of course, we need another 500 million to get this done, based on what they're talking about. So you're talking about, probably more than 750, 700, a little over 700, to get what they're talking about done. And my concern for that, the concern for that is that I don't know how wise it is. They probably know better than I do. That you would take 3/4 of your GDP and invest in one single thing. I mean, I don't know if they did some sort of study or something like that to say, well, okay, this is going to be extremely profitable. But I'm looking at what's going on in Trinidad. Trinidad has they have a teaching research hospital, so it's not a unique thing. I think Guyana has something that's similar too. I don't know if Trinidad can afford. They have a $44 billion GDP, and they can afford to. I think it's free. You see what I'm saying? So they probably can afford to do that. The hope is that Grenadians, might make some money from this. I'm not sure. I don't know, why, let's say Trinidad or Guyana didn't take the initiative to make money off of this. Probably they don't need to make money off it. But I think it's I said it was a white elephant. That's my, way of looking at it. It's a lot to invest. 3/4 of your GDP in one investment. I mean, one of the fundamentals of investment is diversification. So I'm kind of concerned, with 3/4 of your GDP being invested in one single project. If that goes belly up, that's a lot to go belly up, bro.
Right. And again, we're basing it on the fact that I don't know how many people that's watching know that the SGU contribute to over probably about 50 up, if I stand corrected, up in the 50% of the GDP or so of the island. So I'm not, probably it's a projection that a teaching hospital would probably double that. Possibly that could be the thinking. Kem, your closing thoughts on the whole ideas. We're talking about the Afro-XM Bank. We're talking about the teaching hospital, of course. Your closing thoughts on all of the things that we spoke about here earlier.
Right. So, Junior, it's not just a teaching hospital facility that will be constructed as part of Project Polaris. It is a medical city with a modern, climate-smart teaching hospital facility, plus quite a number of other things. I don't know if you saw the video. And it entails a lot, right? With the private sector having, opportunities to invest and bring their stuff in that particular area, or brothers and sisters in the diaspora having opportunities to invest. So it's not just this $668 or so million of co-financing from the Afro-XM Bank, but you would have other partners coming on board to team up with the government of Grenada and make this a reality. When Perry spoke there, he reminded me about the people who doubted Sir Eric Matthew Geary when he had the vision, when he had that big dream of St. George's University. And while they doubted him, today we are benefiting from it, significantly so. He reminded me about the naysayers and the doubters when Maurice Bishop started building the international airport. And they said, well, why this big thing? Why this international airport? Today, Perry comes in on that airport, and I'm certain he feels welcome when he comes in, and he's treated with dignity, and he's treated with respect, and he's treated as a Grenadian returning home. When he spoke there, I say to myself, it's good to dream big. It's good to have plans and programs that are medium to long term. And once we get in the financing required, it's a good undertaking. Jobs will be created from the get go. And when it's operationalized, same thing. Now is the time to have our young men and women specialized in the medical field to take advantage of the opportunities that will come. We know about the TAM-CC Nursing School that was closed down by the NNP administration. Now you have to have money to go to SGU to become a nurse. Before time, any ordinary Grenadian who wanted to become a nurse, let's say from St. Patrick's, St. Mark's, St. Andrews, St. John, could have just gone into TAM-CC and become a part of that program. In fact, I actually lectured there, right, part-time, more so with the disaster management component of things at the nursing school. So I can tell you, right, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for our young boys and girls, our children, to kind of think about a career in the medical field, because opportunities will be created there, right? Let's take advantage of it. You spoke about the Afro-Exim Bank. This is good. It's good to see that a bank is co-financing. We'll get the details as time progresses. But all in all, I am happy that this government has a vision, and they are not just thinking about the now, but the medium to long term. Some people may not understand the medium to long term, but they are results-based oriented, and they're ticking the thing as they go. They're accomplishing great many things, and I'm happy. It's not perfect, and it will never be perfect. There are things I may not agree with, but at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy to see the direction that the country is going, and this administration is managing the economy well.
Right. All right, Kem. Thank you so much for your input there. Kem and Perry is always interested in having you guys with different opinions, and I welcome that. I think when we have a conversation, when we could hear different perspective, I think it makes for a better discussion. Some people might say, well, why are we hearing Perry? It's important to have your voice here, Perry, and I thank you for taking that opportunity. Although sometimes you just get fired, I continue to invite you back here on the platform.
I think his back is
Why not, baby? We can
Yeah,
take it. You know, we grown men.
Perry, I
You
must
know?
commend you and I must applaud you. I mean, we could have different opinions, we could have different viewpoints, but at the end of the day, we are Grenadians. At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
I respect your position. I may not agree with it,
Right.
but let me tell you this,
Same
my
here.
brother. We are still brothers. We are still Grenadians. I wish you all the best, and let's continue as we march on with the developmental trust for this country.
Okay, thank you so
And
much.
all
Thank you
right.
so much, guys.
On
I
that note,
also
good night.
what? Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. Also,
sorry, go
before we go, guys, I wanna just introduce you guys and say thank you, Kem and Perry. I know you guys were somehow involved in my development here in Grenada. I just want to introduce you guys formally. 2 years ago, I started that trust in improving um, transportation here in Grenada. We started with the e-bike, and I made a major announcement today where we launch our rideshare equivalent to a Uber system, and we know how important transportation is. I fell victim to that many times. I'm in places I'm trying to get somewhere, and possibly something wrong with my car, and I can't get transportation to go out. Or from where I live in Union, Richmond, I was speaking to Miss Bernadette, a good friend of mine in Richmond up there. And one time she was saying she was at home and she couldn't get a bus because she wanted to go to the hospital and she couldn't get a bus or a taxi. So because of that and all of the interest that we heard from our viewers, we decided to introduce this amazing platform called Ridealong, which is again is a Uber type platform where anytime you need a taxi, a car, or a luxury vehicle, it's at your fingertip. Just go onto the app and punch it in. I know Kim is always an advocate. Perry, you're always supportive as well. And I want to.
And Junior actually downloaded that app, I actually downloaded that app, right? And I want to congratulate you, my brother, for continuing to invest and for continuing to introduce some great, really good things and creative stuff into Grenada. We needed that, and it's here. And I would encourage everyone. I'm a goer. I'm always on the go here in Grenada, and definitely I would utilize this platform from time to time. Congratulations! I wish you all the best. And look, just go for it, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
You know,
My
yeah,
good friend.
congratulations, Junior. You know, I'm always, especially you being from the soil and everything. You know what I'm saying? I like to see
Yeah,
what you're doing. Continue to do what you're doing. You know, it's great. It's awesome. And good luck with everything. I know it's challenging, but I'm sure you're built for it.
yeah, man. Build for it. That's right. Thank you so much, Perry and Care, my good friends there. We continue to enjoy the company here on Ride Along Live. Guys, we'll keep in touch.
Take care.
Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, as we said, we are at that point. At that point, right? It's all coming together. You know, as I said, when we started with the e-bike, people wasn't clear on my vision, where I'm going with it. But ultimately, this is where I wanted to be. This is what my vision was from the beginning. All right. Enhancing transportation, whether it be e-bike, tuk-tuk, taxi, whatever, it's all one grand idea. And it all comes back to improving what we have, right? And letting everyone benefit with it. And the launch of Ride Diamond, ladies and gentlemen, it is probably one of the toughest, the most the most the most painful, the most financially draining, you name it. It was everything. And many times I felt like, yo, I probably should give up. What am I doing? And a lot of times people even came and told me, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But the vision was always to bring something like this to Grenada. Another thing that people don't know is that when Uber started, a few years after Uber started, I was very instrumental in teaching almost 100,000 drivers in the Uber system. I had a class and a contract with Uber, so a lot of the drivers and the implementation of new concepts and new additions to the Uber platform came because of our interface with Uber. We had a long-term contract with Uber. And I remember going to the head end of Uber one day and I said, we need to bring this to Grenada. But they didn't see it as a market. They didn't see it as a viable market. And so I always wanted to, see how we could bring this to the island. So it's here now. Just some little kinks we're working out. But ladies and gentlemen, Ride Diamond is here. Ride Diamond. Just remember that. Remember that name, Ride Diamond. It is an opportunity, or it's not opportunity, a platform where whenever you need a transport service, not just a taxi, but a bus, a SUV, a NOAA, you need to get from point A to point B in the middle of the night. It could be any time, any day, any part of the island. You could get a taxi to take you there. So we'd like to welcome the new addition to the Ride family. This is Ride Diamond, and this was the vision from day one to bring this to fruition. And there were so many people who worked with us in making this happen. For 2 years, we've been breaking our backs in working and figuring out little things and codes after codes, and it's just a lot. It's been a lot. So it's here. Hope you guys enjoy the Ride Diamond. You could download it in your app. So if you have an Apple device, you could download it. And you don't have to be in Grenada. You could be any part of the world. You could call a taxi for a family member who's here. And the possibilities are endless, all right? I'll tell you guys more about Ride Diamond in the next couple of days and weeks. But for now, download it. If you can't see it in your store, it will be in your store, in the Android store, in a couple of days. But for drivers, if you want to drive it, Ride Diamond, there's a screening process. There's a lengthy screening process. You can start the process by downloading the app, uploading the requested information, and we will screen the drivers. And then if you reach our eligibility, we will onboard you and get you on the road to making some good money as a driver here at taxi service in Grenada.
Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
Hi, I want $10 on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please.
Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet?
Yes, multi-X, all of them.
Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X. You cannot go wrong.
Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your Playway, daily Pick 3, and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Fried foods are tasty, but did you know that repeatedly heating cooking oil can be dangerous? When oil is heated again and again without being changed, harmful chemicals called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAH, build up. These compounds can cause serious health problems, including lung, breast, and prostate cancers. Simply adding fresh oil to old oil doesn't fix the problem. It increases the risks. To protect your health, always use fresh cooking oil and avoid eating large amounts of fried food cooked in old oil or reused oil. A message from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council. Eat local, strengthen food and nutrition security in Grenada.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
there, once again, thank you for watching Ride Along Live. For more information on Ride Diamond, you could check out www.iride, that's iride, ryde.gd. That's iride.gd for more information on that. You could check us out also in your app store. If you need more information, there are 24/7 hotline that you could call is 403-1011. That's 403-1011. That's our 24-hour hotline. For more information on the transportation, even if you need to book, you can call the number 473-1011 and book through our manual booking system, or just download the app. Just download the app. There's always a driver for you. All right? Ride Diamond. Hey, thanks to Kem and Perry for coming on, chatting with us live tonight. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program. For the folks on YouTube, I apologize. What was happening was the program was unlisted on YouTube. So a lot of people was complaining that they can't see us on YouTube. What's going on? I looked at it during the program. I realized that the program was unlisted. Yeah, it was unlisted. Apologize. We fixed the problem now. So it's live on YouTube right now. So everything is good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Peace out. Guys, book your e-bike tour with us. Go to ride.gd. That's ride.gd. Get your family, get your friends, and let us ride. It's all about ride. Let's do the damn thing. Ride Along Live. Catch you guys tomorrow. Good night.
Ride Along Live.
Ride along live, worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong.